Hello everyone. Welcome back to the stream. We're here again on Le Mans Ultimate for the second round of our Monday series. Back in the LMP2s after a bit of a disappointing race last week. Hopefully, we're looking for redemption, but it is not going to be easy as we are at Algarve, Portimao. Welcome. Very difficult track, Portimao, especially in the LMP2s. We've seen a lot of them struggling when we did race around here on a Wednesday, not too long ago. A lot of the LMP2s struggled. So, yeah. Gonna be interesting. Gonna be interesting indeed. But let's head out for qualifying. We're towards the start of pit lane, so we do want to get out. Evening, Artie. Evening, Geeky. Hope you've all had a good Monday, good start to the week. There we go, arriving right on time. But yes, Portimao, I did a little bit of practice, of course, to get thumbnail over the weekend. And I did the practice, as I normally would, with the CDA setup. I wasn't a big fan. I was struggling for consistency with it. I found it very easy to make a mistake. So I've opted to go for the default LMU one. I'm probably giving up a little bit of potential, a little bit of pace. But around here, I'd rather have the safety. So I would. So yeah, I'm not sure what to expect from this week. Practice wasn't too bad. But of course, you don't know how everyone else has done in practice. Whether they've got a clean lap or whether they've been stuck in traffic all the time. Whether they've only done high fuel laps or if they've done quali prep as well. It's difficult to know. So this will really be our first indicator. Of course, not all the time does quali pace transfer to good race pace. Heading towards T1, very tricky T1. Needs a lot of precision to get right up to that inside curb, not to run wide on the exit, and then heavy braking zone. Careful not to lock up. Snatch the tire ever so slightly, get the car turned in, put the foot down on the other side. Through turn 4, easy flat out in these LMP2 cars, as long as you get the line right. Then head to tricky braking zone, turn 5. Of course, tires are still cold, so we're braking a bit early than we will be later on in session. Turn 6, easy flat out. Now we come to a double right-hander. Turn 7, a little bit of brake on entry. Let the car coast through, and then get on the brakes. Turn 8, the car front end grips up. The car turns in nicely. Careful with the throttle, as you can easily over-rotate. Have a spin on the exit. Turn 9, easy flat out left-hander. Keep to left-hand side. Open up this double right-hander. Careful of the braking as you go over the crest. Very easy. Snatching inside front, especially as you turn in for the second right-hander. Easy flat out through this left-hander, let the car drift wide, then strain the wheel up when you hit the brakes to not snatch one of the front tires and get it into the left-hander here. Pick up throttle, then on the brakes too. Car's going to understeer over the crest. Sort of bad camber around here, very long corner. And then it should be flat out when the tires are up to temperature through the final corner. Let's go over the crest. Car will want to understeer a little bit. You will scrub the tires, That's our first flying lap. A safe flying lap as we're getting the tyres up to temperature. We'll certainly find more pace as we go throughout the session. You can see tyre temperatures in the bottom left on the MFD. Tyres are optimally around 80 degrees. And we haven't even got to 60 degrees yet, so we're still a bit a ways away. Main thing we want to do is not lock up a tyre, as that'll hurt us for the rest of the quali stint. So, second flying laps then, we're by second off the top times. I imagine a lot of that is setup related, just going for the safer setup. Still plenty of time to go in qualifying. We're only 5.5 minutes into the session, 9.5 to go. Very close between the top three, just over a tenth. Left-hander pretty difficult with the A-pillar just blocking the apex as you approach. Of course, we're kind of used to the A-pillar being quite annoying in the LMP3, but of course the corners that you're blindsided for now are completely different to the ones we were in the LMP3. We find a quarter of a second, just over. I think we can find a little bit more time. Lost a little bit of time through turn 4, just not quite getting the line right, a little bit wide of the apex. A little bit deep into turn 8. Yeah, that's cost us a few tenths. Too early on the apex there. Through the right-hander, turn 11, I believe that is. Yep. Snatching the front right there. Ever so slightly. We'll get away with no long-term drawbacks there. We have 2 laps of fuel. Oh, that's not great, T1. Lost a tenth and a half compared to last lap. Braking very late for the hairpin. Like that, we've picked up quite a bit of time. Find some more time through turn 7 and 8. Snatched the front left there, but got away with it. Nearly 4/10 up. Yeah, by 4/10 up now. I'll put us clear further of the pack behind, but won't get us into the top 4. This is our final quali lap, and I've definitely invalidated it there. We'll do a pit entry, as we know what happened last time we were here at Portimao. We were on for a certain victory in the LMP2s, and having not practiced the pit entry, we picked up a drive-through then. Won't be a little bit safe because, of course, when we come into the pits in the race, the tyres will be a lot more worn than they are now. So braking potential will be quite a bit less. There's not really much time. We won't have time to get the tyres up to temperature again. So, yeah, we're not going to do better than P5. Kind of a little bit of no man's land. 4/10 up to the car in front, half a second to the car behind, and then a further 6/10 to the car behind them. Hopefully we have a race in the... Hopefully we have a battle in the race, but yeah, we might not do. But yeah, I'm going to quickly go to the toilet for the remainder of qualifying, and then, yeah, we'll be getting into the race when I come back. So, qualifying nearly finished here. Let's have a look back standings. Not much has changed. Cars behind have got a little closer. 4 thousandths between the two cars behind us. Gaps opened up a little bit for pole position. Still have a couple of people on laps, including the car right behind us. But they're short shifting. They might be trying to come in with a what you call it, in for a practice pit stop. And yeah, we've fallen a little bit further behind. We're now 4.5 tenths to the car in front, or maybe we're... Well, I went away. But yeah, 4.5 tenths to the car in front. Yeah, not sure if we're going for the race pace, maybe. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Have to wait and see. Yeah, race could go anyway. Big thing will be traffic. It is not easy around here. So, we're here then for session 2 takeover. Let's have a look at the Porsche, Mercedes. Nearly half a second, 4.5 tenths between pole and second, 7 tenths between second and third. Then it gets close. Then it gets close in the GT3 field. Turn our fuel down. Game says it's going to be 40 laps. I'm thinking it might be 41. But we'll see. We will see. I don't know if I'm going to fuel save too much. So yeah, inside for T1. Hopefully we have a good run through T1. Yeah, good luck, Eddie. Hopefully we have a good safe run through T1. Yeah, that's the main thing. It does get quite tight on the apex. Here we are, ready for the start.
Green flag, green flag.
I got on the curb, which hindered my traction. Oh, we just got slightly connected there. Got ourselves back up in 5th place. Tricky start. Tire's still cold. Evidently is when I hit the brakes there. Front right locked up pretty immediately. Well, one car's already spun out of the top 4. Of course, that gives us P4. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think I should feel safe. Just try and get into a good rhythm and try and break away from cars behind. I'm pretty sure the LMU setup that I'm running has more wing than the CDA. I was hitting the rev limiter with the CDA one, going into T1. Car behind's making a couple of mistakes and dropping back towards the cars behind them, giving us a bit of free air and easing the pressure. Just lifting there to clear the track warning. Saves a bit of fuel. Fuel's about what I expected. Game is currently saying a 40 lap race. Generally when there's a pit stop that goes up by 1, but we're also yet to hit GT3 traffic. Which may just take 1 off again. There was a yellow flag. I think that's for a car behind, judging by how quickly it cleared. The fact that nothing really changed in front of us. Too late on the brakes into turn 4, car behind even later. Yeah, cars behind have dropped back. See how the yellow flag was for someone behind. Yeah, don't quite have the pace of the cars in front. Car behind is keeping me very honest. We've got a straggling GT3 in front of us. Up a little bit to the P2 in front. We didn't lose any time from the traffic. They likely have. Oh, leader's gone off T1. They've just got going again ahead of the car in front. So they hold on to P2 for now, but there's low runoff at T1, so they probably don't have any physical car damage, but the tires are probably very worn. And the car in front made a mistake through the hairpin following them. That's just allowed us to close up a little bit. We might not be showing great pace at the moment, but we're showing good consistency. Potentially I am underdriving the car a little bit. Right, we're approaching the GT3 train. This is where things get interesting. That BMW was going so slow in the apex there. Car in front's lost a lot of time. I 11 more GT3s to pass in this first surf lapping. That's first and second. They've had a crash, and that's the new leader spinning off. In the span of one lap, we have gone from P4 to taking the lead. Still 9 more GT3s to pass. Three-second lead. That's not what I need. Don't need lockups like that. That's a very bad T1. Two more to go. So we don't know what damage the leaders have, or previous leaders, former leaders, however you want to put it, have. Car behind has crashed again. I think they had maybe too much damage. We're through the traffic cleanly now. 4 seconds is the gap to second. They still have 2 cars to pass. They might catch them on the start finish though, and not lose any time. But they might have damage. I must admit the nerves have really just kicked up a gear since that incident. Now that car just coming out of the pits, they've obviously pit to repair damage. They can go to the end of the race from here. So they're not out of this race, I would say. Well, I think they're out of the win, but they could be still in the mid-pack fight. Right, we need to get back into the mid-35s. Catching the straggling GT3 again. So slow. Had to pass them between turns 7 and 8. Hopefully they'll slow down the car behind just as much. Not sure what that yellow flag was for. That's not how you do T1. T1. Little bit deep. Not ideal that. P2 coming out in cold tires to begin. Hopefully they hold up second place as much as they held us up there. Which wasn't much in fairness. Catching up to the GT3s now. That one's just over the pits. Don't know if they're on Or no, they're not just out of the pits, but they're struggling, it seems like. Put your foot down, please. The way they just awkwardly held the middle of the circuit there was so annoying. Something they shouldn't be doing. Cheeky little dive. That's a little bit nerve-wracking. The McLaren trying to make an overtake there made that more awkward. I was a little bit worried the BMW wasn't going to see me. Four more GT3s to pass in this sequence. That's needlessly wide. Just giving away time for free. That's awkward. Right, we have two more, but there's also then the straggler GT3 that's now been lapped by the first two GT3s. Actually find an apex this time. I will catch this BMW on the straight. Get over to the racing line, BMW, please. Porsche being very decisive there, claiming the right-hand side of the track, making their intentions very clear, which is good to see. Turned in too early there. Game's not even going to tell me off for it. We have lost a bit of time, just over a second, to the car behind through that traffic sequence. "30 minutes to go, we're over the halfway mark." That's really bad penultimate corner again. That's where I'm giving up the time. A little deep into the hairpin here. That was a big lockup. Not feeling anything in the tire, which is good. Which is lucky, to be honest. I'm starting to think about the upcoming pit stop. If I want to go as long as I can, or if I should maybe pit early, if it's going to save me with traffic a bit. I'm not sure what that Mercedes was doing. Just kind of all over the place. Don't know if that car's struggling with damage. You could definitely see some on the rear bumper. Or if that's just the natural speed difference between those two cars. That BMW was scary. No idea if it was going to hold a tight line there or run wide. Didn't see, was that McLaren GT3 or LMP2? I think it was a McLaren GT3. Unfortunately, we've lost time in that traffic sequence again. Gap's down 2 seconds. The fact that the LMP2 in front went for such a timid move, it just slowed the Ferrari down and subsequently held me up. Can you lift now, please? Thank you. You've lost me a lot of time. Yellow flag behind, unfortunately, was not P2. Looks like they're losing time with the lapped LMP2 though, so that's nice. Hopefully they'll lose time with that BMW as well. 3 laps. Yeah, we'll be paying end of lap 31 as I predicted. LMP2 off adventuring in the runoff there. Porsche GT3 spun on the inside there. Oh, they're going for the undercut. There is one GT3 here, but I'm kind of hoping by staying out for one more lap, I'll not lose too much time to this GT3 since they're the leader. They're theoretically the fastest GT3 on the track. Can't say I lost too much time there. And instead, I'll come out ahead of other GT3s that they'll be behind. Putting in 9 laps of fuel to take us to lap 40. Well, slightly short filling. Just gotta get pit entry right. 16 seconds. Yeah, we'll be out in front. We actually have a bit of a gap. .5 second gap. In case I need to save a little bit of fuel, I'll save into a couple of the braking zones. Little hint of a flat spot, perhaps. But yeah, I don't think I'm more than half a litre short, which will be easy to save in the remainder of the race. I could do it in a single lap if I really wanted to, but it's better to spread it out. Here's a point where I have no choice but to lift and coast. Look at that rear end of the Porsche sliding through turn 7. I was already committing to the right hand side there. I think they were trying to give me the left, but I felt like I'd unsettled the rear end trying to put the power down if I suddenly switched to the left. I think that's for a car behind. The lapped LMP2, I think that was. That's scary, that cutback. Yeah, leads come down a couple of seconds between lift and coast and traffic, but still 4 seconds. Minutes to go. That cost us a bit of time. That's scary. Too early on the brakes there. I think I'm at a point where I just need to trust I'll make it to the end and run flat out. This is such a clumsy opening sector. Ah, they've made a mistake. That's it, we're safe home. They were pushing as hard as they could. And they were pushing too hard. Five minutes left in the race. Three laps to go. Welcome, Cornado. Yes, coming in just under 3 minutes. Final 2 laps of the race. We're just bringing this one home. Have to do a bit of fuel saving though. With the gap. Yeah, we're safe on fuel for the final lap. We'll save a little bit just to be safe. Gap is over 7 seconds. Oh, LMP2 parked up on the inside there. I'm not going to pass this GT3 that's in second. But yeah, that is the victory. A very unlikely victory, having only qualified P5, and we certainly didn't have the pace of the top 2 there. I think we need some donuts. Yeah. Redemption? I would say so. I would absolutely say so. The Portimao race that we should have won, we didn't win because I got a drive-through penalty, having not practiced pit entry. The Portimao race I shouldn't have won, I have won. And I'm going to load the replay up to see what happened, because I am curious. Should have been P0. Yeah. Time to go back and watch the race. Yeah, the starts might not seem like it's going to be an interesting race at first, but yeah, of course, the first time through traffic, especially a track as technical as Portimao, there's not a lot of places where you're good just get an easy move on a straight. A lot of them are going to have to be done in corners, or you're going to have to wait to till the exit of a corner. And yeah, the chaos unfolded. Luckily, we never got involved in, and it certainly helped us there. But yeah, let's get the replay loaded up. And find out what happened. Find out what happened, what chaos unfolded with the traffic that allowed us to take that victory. Shenanigans definitely did occur. You spun because being in first was suddenly was a shock. I mean, it was a shock to me too. As ready to sort of settle down into a race of just making sure, as don't make any mistakes and don't lose out to people behind me, and then all of a sudden 2 leaders have had an incident and then you were off, and it's like, oh wow, here's the lead, right? I suppose it was the same thing, only this time leading instead of being in P whatever. Yeah, looking for when we caught the traffic. Or not quite. We're looking for... Right, what happened to the first car? The Zach Silver and the Spike LMP2. Locked the rear brakes and had to wait for the entire field to go on by. It's so easily done when you're pushing. I'm going to ask if they were running the CDA setup. So yeah, that was that. Then something's happened at this point. No. Yeah, something's happened at this point. Cheers, Dave. I certainly got lucky. I'm just going through what happened since I didn't have much of a chance of leading until some of this chaos, whatever happens here. Oh, just ambitious into T1. Yeah, like that is breaking. That is a late breaking point for T1, especially when you're diagonaling into the apex. And yeah, at this point, just has too much speed and wee. So then Kylie takes the lead. Yeah. The LMP2s are very unforgiving, especially depending on what setup you're on. Like I was saying at the start of stream, I initially tried with the CDA setup, which I loved. I really liked the CDA setup at Silverstone, but I could not. Oh, okay, right here's what happened. But yeah, I could not get used to the CDA setup here. At this track, I was just the rear end was too loose. I was struggling too much with traction, and I was just spinning too much. So I switched to the base LMU one. You were running Go E. Yeah. The problem is you ran the E setup, the esports setup. Yeah. But yeah, let's see what happened here. Goes to shows caution at first, and then that's so awkward. You ran max swing. The base CDA had 6, and that felt fine on the rear wing to me. I don't think I'd want to have gone any more because then you're taking too much straight line speed off yourself, and if you do get into wheel to wheel battles, you're not going to have the straight line speed. You were P4. Yeah, I don't know what the CDA setup is in terms of wing angle. I know it's definitely a few clicks slower than the CDA though, because when I was practicing with the CDA, I was hitting the rev limiter going into T1, and I never hit it once, even with slipstream. On the LMU one, it made you feel confidence. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. You know, confidence can certainly be more important than a setup that is theoretically quicker. Because even if a setup is theoretically quicker, if you don't have the confidence, you're not going to get that potential out of it, and then it won't be quicker at all. And then if you do try and get that potential out of it, you eventually, in a race, if you're doing it lap after lap, you'll eventually make a mistake, and you might get away and maybe only lose 10 seconds, or you might lose a lot more, especially if you end up picking up damage with a collision with another car or barrier. Yeah, there's a lot of time to be lost. But yeah, this moment just kind of a little bit awkward. It's such a small tap. That is so unfortunate. And then, yeah, just has to wait, and also gets a real good whack in the side from Alfie. I'll go to Alfie's onboard here. Coming up right, looking to the outside. And yeah, just suddenly LMP2. Suddenly LMP2. Nothing Alfie could have done there. Like, you're coming up over the crest, which leaves you a bit blind in the first place. Alfie is going to be full focus on the Porsche here that they're passing, and maybe the BMW in front of them. They're not going to be looking as far as Kylie and the Porsche. You can just about see Kylie spin there, but that's because we're in slow motion and we know that's happening. Alfie, I don't think we'd have had any clue of noticing that. Suddenly this BMW is checking up. Alfie reacts, is getting onto the brakes. Suddenly there's a McLaren there. Oh, and suddenly LMP2. Bonk. So yeah, that's just really unfortunate for them. Yeah, and you know, luckily we were far enough back that yeah, we were able to go down an extra, you know, go down into first gear and keep the car in tight. And then yeah, Eddie here, just on this tight line, braking a little bit too late, and also what you'll notice is this brake doesn't go more than like 60-70%. It's very light braking, and so just carries way too much speed in for the tight angle. Turns the car in, and then yeah, the rear vent just goes around because like yeah, it's too much speed. And yeah, loses out quite a few positions, drops down to P4, muscles Kylie out on the outside. Yeah, oh. I was going to say, I know Alfie has another moment. I was going to say, it's going to be difficult to find it, but find it straight away. Turns in for a left-hander here. The curb just unsettles the rear end and goes for a full 360 and then just loses it again. Oh boy, that was very close. So what here? Yeah, let's go on board here. Come 3 cars spun. Yeah, blindsided a bit with that LMP2. Yeah, and by this point, Kylie had already made his way up to second. But yeah, that was certainly interesting. Let's try and see what happened to Kylie towards the end. Already happened. Already happened. Already happened. Not happened yet, so. At this point, Kylie's closing in on me because I made a couple of little mistakes. Didn't have great traffic, and I was also, of course, fuel saving a little bit. And ooh, was this just a lock of the rears? I think that's just tried to turn the car in a little too aggressively with the brake on. Would be my guess. Maybe a little too quick, like. They're not too late on the brakes, and they do hit a good force. That's 90% there. I wouldn't say they're trailing off too quickly. But I think it's just they kind of turn the car in a little too quickly with how much they have, and whatever damage they're carrying, most likely the state of their tires having, the state of their tires not being the best, just send the car around. Like if you noticed, I was kind of angling towards the apex every time I braked for that corner. Just because I didn't really want to be doing that sort of trail braking into turning. Yeah. Yeah, but that's just Kylie. Kylie sees that they're catching, but knows that they need to keep on the pace. To give themselves time for an overtake as well. And yeah, just pushed a little bit too much that lap. It's easily done. These cars, as Dave said, aren't forgiving. Yeah, and some people certainly learned that today. Yeah, that is just about everything we have to go through. Eventful race. So it was. Yeah. I don't even remember how much fuel I ended the race with. I meant to say because I know it was going to be tight. But yeah, if I got myself, did I say no? I don't. It doesn't show me how much fuel I used. But yeah, that was good race. We didn't get many on track battles. We only really got one at the start. It was a good battle at the start, in fairness. Yeah. But yeah, that's our only real on track battle. The rest was chaos through the traffic. It's fine margins, and yeah, it just caught a couple of people out in the wrong manner. 0.2 laps. Yeah, it's be very low. It'd certainly be less than 1 liter. I mean, 0.2. Yeah, that's probably less than half a liter. Still enough to do a couple of donuts at the end. They weren't great donuts, in fairness, but yeah, wasn't the easiest when other cars came up and parked next to me. And it's like, right, you can't hit them. But yeah, that was good fun. Thank you all for coming along, for watching along, or coming in to chat at the end. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Eddie. Shame about the mistake, Eddie, but yeah, nearly got third in the end. Hope you enjoyed the race. Yeah, Cornelio, Dave. Thank you all for popping in. Hope you enjoyed. I'll be back on Wednesday for the final round of our Wednesday series in the LMP3s. We're heading to Silverstone, the last of the 4 rounds. We'll see if we can have a good final race. I don't think we'll be winning. From what I've seen in the Discord, the person who won the first 2 races seems like they're going to be sweating this one a bit to try and guarantee themselves the final race victory after their unfortunate disconnect last week. I've done a few laps, but as always, I've not done too much. Really just enough to get myself the thumbnail, so I'm thinking it'll be a P2, but yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. There's obviously a bit of strategy at play, and it should still be an interesting race, hopefully. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. To hopefully have another clean race. Don't know about weather. Maybe a chance of rain. We don't know yet. But yeah, rain would definitely spice things up if it does come on Wednesday for Silverstone. But yeah, will be nice to try Silverstone. We've done it a couple of times now, of course, in these P2s. To not great success. Hopefully, we can find some success in the LMP3 in a couple of days' time. Yeah, and then we'll be back after that for the next round on Monday. Next Monday, 3rd round of the series, where we are heading to Le Mans. The regular Le Mans with the chicanes. yeah, should be an interesting race. Of course, straight line speed a lot more important there. But of course, you do have the twisty sections, the S's at the start. The Porsche carves such a magnificent sequence of corners. Should be a lot of fun in these cars with all the downforce that they have. Yeah, they should be good fun with the downforce. But yeah, should still be an easy one-stop strategy. But of course, it's going to be a little bit more pitting a little bit earlier and a little bit more fuel to take on at the pit stop. But yeah, no tire change. Certainly not a tire change at Le Mans. But yeah, qualifying will be a bit more interesting, of course. Not as many qualifying laps to sort of nail the lap. So yeah, it'll be a little bit harder to get a good qualifying lap in. But it won't be too important as long as you get a clean run through the S's on the opening lap. Slipstream opportunities down Mulsanne towards Indianapolis will be prevalent. So yeah, it's tuck in some slipstream. Yeah, that race, if it's certainly looking as close as it might have been in the top four today, it should be a very interesting race next week. I might look for a little race on Friday. I think there's a race that's on Friday. I might try and see if I can get into one, but we'll see. It's nothing is guaranteed there. But yeah, back on Wednesday then for Silverstone and LMP3s. Then on Monday, once again with LMP2s at Le Mans. Maybe a Friday race. We will see if I can make that happen. Yeah, that's plans. Again, thank you all very much for joining. Hope you all enjoyed the race. Hopefully, I'll see you again on Wednesday. If not, again next Monday. But until then, have a good Tuesday. Have a good Wednesday. If I don't see you on Wednesday, have a good rest of your week. Until next time, take care. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah, I will see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.